Breaking details this morning in the Penn State sex abuse scandal. The biological mother of a boy adopted by former coach Jerry Sandusky is speaking out, saying she harbored concerns about him all the way back in the mid-1990s. ABC's Jim Avila joins us again from State College with his exclusive interview. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Robin. It's difficult to tell the long-term effects of Jerry Sandusky's decision to defend himself on national television, but in the short term, it certainly seems to have galvanized the alleged victims to testify against him. And according to the morning paper, brought out new victims from as far back as the 1970s to hire attorneys and say they too were abused by Sandusky. It also has angered an old foe who spoke first to ABC News exclusively. DEBRA Long says she had a frightening inside look at the way Jerry Sandusky used charm, gifts, and the power of Penn State football to allegedly groom young boys for sex.
It was Jerry Sandusky. You know, any 10-year-old kid's going to be impressed by Penn State football. You know, and then it was the gifts, you know, money and clothing and whatever.
She knew Sandusky all too well, sharing a son with him, and not by choice. DEBRA Long is Matt Sandusky's birth mother, taken away from her after he vandalized a garage and given to Sandusky as a foster child, ultimately adopted by him at age 18.
It was as if Jerry owned Matthew.
At first, she says in our exclusive interview, Sandusky entered their lives as a welcome mentor at age 10. But she says it turned into a nightmare, even though to this day, Matt insists he was not abused by Jerry.
My son was afraid of Jerry. If Jerry said don't talk, Matt didn't talk. I would sit back and I would watch when Jerry would show up how excited Matt was. And then as time went on, I would watch the same kid hide behind the bedroom door and say, "Mom, tell him I'm not home."
And while Matt Sandusky still supports his adopted father, ABC News has learned that two other boys named in the indictment against a former Penn State football coach are now preparing to testify against him.
He has decided to dig in his heels, and he's not going anywhere. He fully intends to testify.
A second boy known to be planning to testify is victim number one in the indictment, who ABC News has learned already told his story to the grand jury and is now anxious to tell it again in open court, according to his mother.
He wants him to go to jail, and he wants him to pay for what he's done. And he doesn't want him on the streets where he can hurt somebody else.
Now, ABC News reached out to Matt Sandusky and asked her about his mother's story. He declined to comment.